like just working class rage, people disgruntled, and this, six.
Well, hang on. Okay, let's talk about these riots for a minute.
Here we go.
Because that wasn't why they were rioting.
Of course, that's my point. My point is
they were rioting because they were whipped up by people who should know better and probably did know better into believing a certain set of circumstances had happened surrounding an appalling attack, right? They hadn't. It wasn't actually an illegal asylum seeker who committed these actions. And so people were in a way, it was a smaller version of the Iraq War, which I oppose so vociferously. I'll tell you why. It was fought on an entirely false pretext. Had Saddam had weapons of mass destruction, that war would have been justified. Had the person who perpetrated this crime been an illegal asylum seeker, you're not entitled to commit violence, but you're certainly entitled to feel rage about that happening at a time when this whole issue of illegal asylum seekers, coming in and taking over the country, all that argument they put forward, it would at least have had some validity that was why they were angry.
Even the premise wasn't accurate.
But everything about it was wrong. Right, so the riots were whipped up by people, malevolent voices who should have known better. Tommy Robinson, Andrew Tate, and others. I took on Tate about this a few days later, and that's a problem with social media. Now, let's go further to when a lot of people were put in prison because they tweeted things. That I don't agree with. Right.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that because it seems a ridiculous overreach. And when you overreach to that level where people are literally, grandmothers are being put in prison for 2 years for something they put on Facebook, that's not a sensible response to this either. If people are actually chucking Molotov cocktails at an asylum seeker hotel, chuck him in prison for a few years. But a granny gobbing off on Facebook, come on. Is that what we're really about in this country?
There was the thing I realized when I watched those videos in Middlesbrough was a lot of the people that were walking down the street, there was a new build house with fresh windows, and you could tell because it still had that sort of tape papering over the outside. And, people were out in the streets going through a classic northern terraced working class neighborhood, and someone just picked up a brick and threw it through the window of this brand new house. And that was the point where I was like, this has got nothing to do with the immigration, rightly or wrongly, false pretext or correct pretext. It's just this sort of...
Well, that would be an angry resentment.
But to what?
Well, people having what you don't have, and you're feeling... And look, who knows what's going on in these people's lives,
I understand,
right?
but
I understand the rage of people who maybe through the pandemic have come out and they've got no job. Maybe they've gone through a horrible divorce. Maybe they've got no money. They can't afford to feed their kids. Their lives are shit. And I understand they're going to feel angry. Of course I do. And by the way, there are lots of people in this country who are in that position. A lot.